Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to give you a little winter update. We're just updating you with what we did over the winter break. Obviously we had lots of festivities over Christmas and New Year, but we're back on the land and we're trying to take advantage of the dry spell of weather that we're having to clear a lot of the thicker branches that we can handle, and to stack up some of the wood, as well as try and level out the land a little bit more, as it was a bit of a mess. So we want to try and level it off so that the water drains off from it, and then we can hopefully start planting a few things. So we've been trying to pull out the bits in the hedge that I actually shoved in to get them out the way, but we're trying to clear the hedge a bit so we can plant up a few more trees and bushes. So I'm just kind of trying to separate the ivy from the sort of shreddable sticks. We're going to hopefully hire a chipper and use those as a mulch, just to cover the land a little bit more, and hopefully it'll dry out a bit more. And in the meantime, hopefully we can either shred the ivy and use it in potentially some raised beds, or put it straight onto the compost, so we can get rid of it. We have also picked up some really sturdy wooden shelving. Well, they were used in shelving, but they're kind of really sturdy pallet sides, but they're much stronger than pallets. So the plan is to oil and stain them to protect them a little bit from the elements, and then use them for the compost bin and potentially a couple of hotbeds as well, which would be really good because we can hopefully fill them with a bit of ivy, and that'll help it break down, so we can get rid of some of that on the land and help fill that space as well. And hopefully if the hotbeds work for us in time, we can use them to start germinating some early seeds as well. So busy, lots to do. Great to be getting stuck in. So the pallets that we're using are these ones. They are like really heavy duty. We picked them up secondhand off Marketplace on Facebook. They weren't the cheapest, but they weren't super expensive either. But hopefully, because they are pretty heavy duty, they should last us a long time as compost bays. And we've got quite a few. We've got a few more behind me here and some more over here as well that are slightly smaller. Rather have too many than not enough. So I'm going to carry on painting these ones ready to be turned into our compost bays. Another one down, but so many more to go, so I better get cracking on. So the aim at the minute is to try and clear an area for where compost bays are going to go. There's a little bit of barbed wire that I need to clear and kind of rake it as flat as possible. And there's a big pile of quite long logs in the way, so we'll start by moving those, try and clear some of the barbed wire and level it out ready to put in our pallets to make the compost bays. So I'm not sure if that bit of footage is going to be usable because yeah, I had it on the wrong settings on my camera that I'm still getting used to. So but we've cleared the area for the compost bays. There's so much ivy and barbed wire on the land, it's just becoming really difficult to try and get rid of. The barbed wire in particular is the reason that the trees on the southern border have had to be cut as high as they have, because clearly there was an old barbed wire fence put in at some point, and yeah, it's ended up having the trees kind of growing through it. So I'm having to cut the barbed wire from the tree stumps. I'm trying to do it as close as I can, but it's really fiddly, and I don't think the snips that I'm using are the best. But yeah, so we're gradually doing that. I'm actually not far off the end of the plot of land now, so hopefully shouldn't have too much more of that to do. There is just so much ivy underfoot. Obviously it's just had a chance to grow while no one's been maintaining the land, so sort of digging down into it is a bit of a pain in the butt. But we've cleared the space ready for the compost bays, so that section will be our next little project. And once we've got the compost bays in, we'll be able to kind of shred down a lot of the ivy and hopefully compost it and have somewhere to put a lot of the rubbish. I think we're going to do 4 bays, hopefully if they fit, 3 if they don't fit, and we're going to do it between the 2 tree stumps, so it'll also act as a bit of a barrier along the fence line as well. And we do want to cover it as well so it doesn't get all the rainwater in it. Obviously some more moisture is fine, but we don't want it completely saturated, as that will run off all the good nutrients from the compost. So and it's also down in the section that is going to be our veg plot, and it's going to be very close to the polytunnel. Bit of a fresh morning here today, and I'm just cutting back our willow for the willow fence that we would like to do up at the new house. This is actually my in-laws' garden, so we're just going to cut back the willow and take the longer and thicker whips up to the new land and put in a living fence. So got the willow. We should have enough to do the fence. If not, there is still a bit that I can always cut, but I've tried to go around and just take the thicker stems, as I think they'll be the strongest to be putting in for fencing. And then I can come back and harvest the smaller whips for drying out to use for basket weaving. To actually restart doing the willow fence. I was struggling to get the ends of the willow into the ground, so had to search for a little tool that I have that helps me kind of bore into the soil in a straight line. So I'm doing that, and I'm trying to get the 45-degree angle right, which is actually a lot shallower than I thought. Obviously kind of looking down on it, you feel like it should be higher. So I'm going to continue doing that. We're doing it kind of either side of the sycamore tree here, so we'll be going along here and then a bit further up there. It for this month's video. The next jobs will be getting the caravan on site, building the compost bays, and hopefully finally getting some plants in the ground. Join us next time. Thanks a mil.